After my father-in-law's funeral, my jobless wife inherited $379 million. Suddenly, she demanded a divorce, saying, "You're useless to me now." I replied, "Don't regret this later, lol." The funeral was Tuesday. By Friday, she was already shopping for a mansion in Beverly Hills. "I don't need you anymore," she said, tossing divorce papers on our kitchen table next to my unemployment check. "I'm finally free from dead weight." I just smiled and signed them without reading. She thought I was an idiot who'd given up. But here's what she didn't know. I'd been having secret conversations with her father for months before he died. He'd called me one evening, voice shaking with disappointment. "Son, I need to tell you something about Kimberly. She's been pressuring me to change my will. She wants me to cut out her brother and sister completely, says they don't deserve anything because they abandoned me." That wasn't true. Her siblings lived across the country, but called him daily. Kimberly barely visited unless she needed money. "There's more," he continued. "I caught her going through my financial documents last week. She was photographing my bank statements and investment portfolios. When I confronted her, she said she was just helping me organize. That's when he told me his plan. The will Kimberly knew about, it was fake. He'd shown it to her on purpose to test her character. The real will was locked in a different lawyer's safe. 2 weeks after the funeral, we're at what she thinks is the final divorce meeting. She struts in wearing a $5,000 Chanel dress and diamond earrings that cost more than my car. She's already bragging about her new Porsche and the mansion she put a deposit on. "This is so exciting," she tells the lawyer. "I can finally live the life I deserve. No more supporting a jobless husband who brings nothing to the table." The inheritance lawyer walks in with a thick leather folder. I recognize him immediately. It's Gregory Stone, her father's real attorney, not the junior associate who'd been handling the official proceedings. "Mrs. Benjaminson, I'm afraid there's been a significant misunderstanding," he says calmly. Her smile falters slightly. "What kind of misunderstanding?" The will was clear. I inherited everything. He opens the folder and slides a document across the mahogany table. "This is your father's actual will, executed just 3 months before his death. The document you've been referencing was, let's call it, a preliminary draft." She grabs the papers, her manicured nails clicking against the desk. "What are you talking about? This can't be right." Gregory points to the highlighted section. "Your father was quite specific. He left the entire estate to your husband, Benjamin, here with explicit instructions that you receive nothing if you initiated divorce proceedings within 2 years of his death." The color drains from her face. "That's impossible. He wouldn't do that to me." "Actually," Gregory continues, "he included a personal letter explaining his decision. Would you like me to read it?" She nods weakly. Her earlier confidence completely evaporated. Gregory clears his throat. "Kimberly, if you're hearing this, it means you chose money over family. I watched you manipulate and scheme, thinking I was too old to notice. Benjamin showed me the respect and love you never did. He earned this inheritance through character, not blood." She sits in stunned silence as Gregory explains the conditions. The $379 million she'd been spending in her mind for weeks, it was never hers. The mansion deposit, the Porsche lease, the shopping sprees, all purchased on credit she couldn't afford. Furthermore, Gregory adds, "Your father instructed that if you contest this will, the entire estate goes to charity instead." She tries calling her siblings, hoping they'll help her fight it, but they'd already received their own letters from their father, explaining Kimberly's true nature and asking for their understanding. Gregory pulls out another document. "Oh, and about that mansion deposit you mentioned. The seller's attorney contacted us this morning. They ran a background check before closing." Kimberly's hands start shaking. "The $200,000 deposit you put down, it was from a joint account you drained the day after the funeral. An account your father set up for your brother's medical treatments." Before Gregory can finish, Kimberly lunges across the table. Her nails scratch against the polished wood as she tries to grab the will documents. "Give me those! You're lying!" Gregory calmly pulls them away, sliding his chair back. "Mrs. Benjaminson, please control yourself." I watch her face twist with rage and desperation, mascara already starting to run. Gregory straightens his tie and continues like nothing happened. "I need to inform you that your brother's lawyer has already been contacted about the stolen medical fund money. They're filing charges for theft and fraud." Kimberly freezes. "They can't do that. That was family money. I had every right to—" "You had no such right," Gregory interrupts. "The account was specifically designated for Marcus's cancer treatment. Your father made that clear in the account documentation." Kimberly's divorce lawyer, this hotshot attorney she'd been bragging about all week, suddenly starts gathering his papers. He clears his throat awkwardly. "Miss Benjaminson, I think perhaps we need to have a private conversation about my representation moving forward." She whips around to face him. "What are you talking about?" "Sit down," We're not done here. He keeps packing his briefcase, not making eye contact. Actually, we are. There's no longer any assets to fight over in this divorce. And quite frankly, you can't afford my retainer anymore. I'll be sending you a final invoice for services rendered. Her voice gets shrill. You can't just abandon me like this. We had an agreement. Our agreement was contingent on your ability to pay. Based on what I'm hearing, that's no longer possible. He snaps his briefcase shut. Kimberly jumps up from her chair so fast it topples backward. You're a traitor. I'll report you to the Bar Association. You can't just activate it, but he's already walking out, and honestly, I don't blame him. The room goes quiet except for Kimberly's heavy breathing. She fumbles for her phone, fingers shaking as she scrolls through her contacts. I need to call the Porsche dealership. I need to cancel the lease. She puts the phone to her ear, and I can hear it ringing. Yes, hi, this is Kimberly Benjaminson. I need to cancel my lease agreement immediately. There's a pause, and I watch her face go from desperate to horrified. What do you mean it was delivered this morning? I never authorized. No, I understand it's at the apartment, but I need to. Non-refundable? She pulls the phone away from her ear and just stares at it. They delivered it to my new apartment. The first 6 months are already paid and non-refundable. That's $8,000 a month. I'm on the hook for $48,000 minimum. She looks at me like I'm supposed to help her. I just shrug. Gregory shuffles some papers. Benjamin, I should mention something about Marcus, your brother-in-law. I lean forward. I don't really know him. We've never met. He has stage 3 lymphoma. The $200,000 your wife stole was specifically set aside for an experimental treatment not covered by insurance. Without it, he doesn't finish the sentence, but he doesn't need to. Kimberly's sitting there, and for a second I think maybe she'll show some remorse. Instead, she just says, "How was I supposed to know what the money was for?" I feel something hot rise in my chest. You knew exactly what it was for. That's why you took it. We leave the lawyer's office separately. I'm heading to my car when I hear heels clicking fast behind me. Benjamin, wait! I turn around and there's Kimberly, makeup running, designer dress wrinkled from her earlier lunge across the table. Baby, listen, I think we need to talk about this. It was all just a big misunderstanding. She reaches for my arm and I step back. A misunderstanding? I never really wanted the divorce. I was upset about my dad dying and I wasn't thinking straight. We can fix this. We can work it out. She tries to hug me and I actually laugh. Kimberly, you already signed the papers. So did I. They're filed. We can undo it. People change their minds all the time. I still love you. The way she says it, it's like she's reading from a script. No, you don't. You love money. There's a difference. I get in my car and drive away. In my rearview mirror, I see her standing in the parking lot, phone pressed to her ear, probably calling someone else to manipulate. That evening, I drive to County General Hospital. The receptionist directs me to room 447, and when I walk in, there's a guy in the bed nearest the window. He's thin, almost skeletal, with an IV in his arm and dark circles under his eyes. He looks up when I enter and his expression immediately hardens. Great, another bill collector. Take a number, man. Get in line behind the other dozen people I owe money to. I'm not a bill collector. I'm Benjamin, your sister's husband. Well, ex-husband as of today. His face changes completely. Oh man, I'm sorry, I thought. He gestures weakly at his hospital gown. I've been getting a lot of visitors lately. None of them friendly. I pull up a chair. I just found out what Kimberly did. With the money your dad set aside. Marcus's eyes immediately fill with tears. She told you? Her dad told me. Months ago, actually. He knew what she'd done. I tried to warn him, Marcus says, his voice breaking. I called him last year when I first noticed money missing from the account. But he didn't believe me. He said Kimberly would never do something like that. A tear rolls down his cheek. He called me 2 months before he died. Apologized. Said he finally understood, but by then most of the money was already gone. Marcus wipes his eyes with the back of his hand. You know what the worst part is? It wasn't even the first time. She's been stealing from the family for years. What do you mean? After our mom died, Mom had this jewelry collection. Not super expensive stuff, but some pieces were worth a few thousand. Family heirlooms, you know? One day, Dad asked where Mom's pearl necklace was, the one she wore in all her old photos. Kimberly said the house had been broken into. Filed a police report and everything. But there was no break-in, I say. She sold it all. I found the receipts years later in her old room when I was helping Dad clean out the attic. She got maybe $30,000 total from everything. Sold our mother's memory for 30 grand. He starts coughing, this wet, rattling sound that makes me want to call a nurse. When he catches his breath, he continues. Dad only started seeing her real character in his final months. He told me he'd been blind, that he'd enabled her because she was his little girl. He felt guilty right up until the end. I reach into my jacket and pull out my checkbook. Right there in the hospital room, I write a check for $250,000. Marcus stares at it like it's a winning lottery ticket. What is this? It's for your treatment, plus extra for recovery expenses, living costs, whatever you need. He's just holding the check, mouth open. Why would you do this? You don't even know me. Your father wanted you to have this. Gregory showed me a sealed letter he left. Specific instructions that you should receive whatever was stolen, plus additional support. Your dad knew about the theft before he died, and he wanted to make it right. Marcus starts crying again. But this time, they're different tears. I thought I was going to die. The doctors here, they're doing what they can, but without that experimental treatment, my odds are basically, don't think about that now. Get the treatment. Focus on getting better. I'm barely home for an hour when there's pounding on my apartment door. Boom, boom, boom. Benjamin, open this door. It's Kimberly, and she sounds drunk. I know you're in there. Open up. I look through the peephole. She's swaying on her feet, makeup everywhere, still wearing that expensive dress. You stole my inheritance, she screams. I'm calling the police. You're a thief. Doors are opening up and down the hallway. My neighbors are peeking out. Mr. Hendricks from 3B looks concerned. I text building security. Within minutes, they're escorting a screaming Kimberly down the hallway. This isn't over, she yells. You haven't heard the last of me. The next morning, I'm drinking coffee when there's a knock. It's a process server. Benjamin Benjaminson? That's me. He hands me papers. It's a restraining order, filed by Gregory on my behalf last night. Kimberly is prohibited from coming within 500 feet of me or contacting me in any way. Apparently, Gregory predicted she'd pull something and had the paperwork ready. The same process server is delivering a copy to her right now. 2 days later, Gregory calls. The mansion seller's attorney has filed a lawsuit against Kimberly. They want the $200,000 deposit back immediately, plus $50,000 in damages. Apparently, they did their due diligence after accepting the deposit and discovered the funds were fraudulently obtained. How's she planning to fight that? I ask. She's not. She has no legal standing. The money was stolen from a designated medical account. She'll lose, and they'll probably garnish her wages for the rest of her life. I almost feel bad for her. Almost. A week goes by. Gregory calls again. You might want to sit down for this. Kimberly tried to get a loan to pay back some of her debts. Her credit score has tanked. She maxed out 7 different credit cards during her 3-day shopping spree after the funeral. She was charging everything, assuming the inheritance was coming. How bad are we talking? Her score dropped 280 points. She went from good credit to basically subprime. No legitimate lender will touch her. I get a call from a woman named Rachel. Hi, is this Benjamin? This is Rachel, Kimberly's sister. I just flew in from Seattle and I wanted to thank you in person. Is there a time we could meet? We meet at a coffee shop near the hospital. Rachel is petite with kind eyes. Nothing like Kimberly. I cannot thank you enough for what you did for Marcus. When he called me crying, saying someone had finally helped him, She tears up. Our family has been dealing with Kimberly's manipulation for so long. Tell me about it, I say. She pulls out her phone and starts showing me text messages. Messages from Kimberly calling Rachel a leech for asking their dad to help with her daughter's college tuition. He helped me with $5,000, Rachel says. Meanwhile, Kimberly was borrowing tens of thousands that she never repaid. She bought a boat once with money she borrowed from Dad, sold it 6 months later for half what it cost, and kept the money. Why didn't your dad see this? He did, eventually. But by then, Rachel's voice breaks. By then he was dying and running out of time to fix things. That's why he changed his will. He told me on the phone a week before he died that he was leaving everything to you, not her. He said you were the only person who treated him like a human being instead of a bank account. 3 weeks pass. Gregory calls with news. The Porsche dealership repossessed the car from Kimberly's apartment. She missed the first payment. That was fast. They don't mess around with luxury vehicles. Plus, she now owes them a $15,000 penalty for breaking the lease agreement early. Add that to her growing list of debts. Where is she living now? Apparently, she moved back in with her mother. Small studio apartment. Her mother is, from what I understand, less than thrilled about the situation. A few days later, I start getting weird emails. They're from people with Kimberly's last name, people I don't know. You need to share that inheritance. It should stay in the family. Who do you think you are? Taking money from his real children. We're going to sue you and we'll win. I forward them all to Gregory. He traces the IP addresses, sends cease and desist letters to every single one of them. The emails stop immediately. Marcus calls me with good news. I start the experimental treatment next week. The doctors are really optimistic, Benjamin. They think this might actually work. That's incredible. Listen, I need to ask you something. I don't have any family I trust right now. Would you be okay being listed as my emergency contact? I don't even hesitate. Of course. Absolutely. Thank you. You've done more for me in a month than my blood relatives have done in years. More news from Gregory. Kimberly has been served with criminal charges. Theft over $100,000. The prosecutor is pushing for felony charges with potential jail time. This is serious, Benjamin. How serious? 3 to 5 years if convicted. Maybe more depending on the judge. I should feel something, shouldn't I? Victory, maybe? But I just feel empty. While sorting through some old files, I discover something that makes my blood boil. There's a credit card in my name that I never opened. I call the company. This card was opened 2 years ago, the representative tells me. The current balance is $23,000. I never opened this card. The signatures on the applications match your name, sir. But if you're saying this is fraud, I file a police report for identity theft. Turns out Kimberly had opened the card in my name when I was unemployed, maxed it out buying God knows what, and never made a single payment. This is added to her growing list of legal problems. I get a call from Kimberly's public defender. Mr. Benjaminson, I'm representing your ex-wife. She's looking at 3 to 5 years in prison unless we can make a deal. The prosecutor wants her to return the $200,000 plus interest. Is there any way we could work something out? She doesn't have $200,000. I'm aware. That's the problem. Without that money, the prosecutor won't budge on the prison time. Then she should have thought about that before she stole her dying brother's medical money. The public defender sighs. I expected that answer. Thank you for your time. I decide to sell the house Kimberly and I shared. Too many bad memories. I find a nice place closer to the hospital where Marcus is being treated, bigger, with an extra guest room. The day I move in, I donate all our old furniture to charity. Every piece of it reminds me of her, and I don't want any of it in my new life. Gregory calls about Kimberly again. She's trying to sell the designer clothes and jewelry she bought during her shopping spree. Most stores won't take returns after 30 days. Resale shops are offering her maybe 20 cents on the dollar. How much did she get? Around $3,000. She spent $40,000 on that stuff. I actually laugh. It's not funny, but I can't help it. Marcus's treatment is working. The doctors use words like promising results and better than expected. He's getting stronger, gaining weight, looking more like a living person and less like a walking skeleton. One day at the hospital, I tell him, when you're discharged, I want you to stay with me. I've got a guest room, and you shouldn't be going back to your cramped apartment. Benjamin, I can't ask you to do that. You're not asking. I'm offering. You need somewhere comfortable to recover, and I've got the space. Thanksgiving rolls around. Rachel flies in with her family, her husband, and her teenage daughter. I host my first real family dinner at the new place. We've got a turkey, stuffing, mashed potatoes, the whole spread. Marcus is sitting at the table, still thin but healthy, his color good. At one point, he stands up with his wine glass. I want to make a toast. Benjamin, you literally saved my life. Not just financially, but you gave me something to live for. You showed me what family is supposed to be like. Thank you. Everyone clinks glasses. Meanwhile, somewhere across town, Kimberly is spending Thanksgiving alone in her mother's studio apartment, and I don't feel bad about it at all. Speaking of Kimberly's mother, I get a letter from her. Handwritten, kind of shaky. Dear Benjamin, I need to apologize to you for my daughter's behavior. I had no idea how terrible she'd become. The things she did to her own family, stealing from her brother. I'm ashamed. I kicked her out of my apartment after I caught her stealing $500 from my purse. I should have seen the signs years ago. I'm sorry you got caught up in this. You seem like a good man. Helen. I write her back, telling her none of this was her fault, that she did her best as a mother. Kimberly ends up on a friend's couch for about a week, but that doesn't last long. Apparently, she was constantly complaining about how she should be rich, how it wasn't fair, how everyone betrayed her. Her friend got sick of it and kicked her out too. The mansion lawsuit goes to court. I don't attend, but Gregory fills me in. The judge ruled against Kimberly immediately. She has to repay $200,000 plus $50,000 in damages and legal fees. Her wages will be garnished. For how long? I ask Gregory. Based on her current income, probably the rest of her life. She finally gets a job as a waitress at a chain restaurant making minimum wage plus tips. According to Rachel, who heard it from a mutual acquaintance, Kimberly's coworkers can't stand her. She constantly complains to customers about how she should be rich, how her inheritance was stolen, how life isn't fair. Her tips are terrible. I decide to do something good with the inheritance. I establish a charitable foundation in my father-in-law's name. The foundation provides financial assistance to families dealing with expensive medical treatments. Gregory helps me set it all up, making sure it's properly registered and tax-exempt. We screen applications, distribute funds, Help people who are in the same situation Marcus was in. It feels right. Like I'm honoring the man who trusted me enough to leave me everything. Marcus recovers enough to go back to work. He's a graphic designer, something I didn't know until he mentioned it. He insists on paying me rent even though I tell him it's not necessary. Benjamin, you've done enough for me. Let me contribute something. We develop a genuine friendship. Movie nights, cooking dinners together, talking about life. He's become like the brother I never had. One day, I'm at work when security calls. Sir, there's a woman here demanding to see you. She says her name is Kimberly. Call the police. She's violating a restraining order. I watch from my office window as they arrest her in the parking lot. She's screaming the whole time about how she just wanted to talk, how it's not fair. She spends 3 days in jail before being released. The prosecutor calls me directly. Mr. Benjaminson, we've offered Miss Benjaminson a plea deal. 2 years in prison with 3 years probation if she pleads guilty to felony theft. We think it's fair given the circumstances. What does she say? She refused. She's convinced she can win at trial. She's representing that she was entitled to the money as the daughter. Even though it was specifically designated for Marcus's medical treatment, logic doesn't seem to be her strong suit. Her public defender quit, by the way. She's been assigned a new one, fresh out of law school. A journalist contacts me. She's writing a story about inheritance fraud and family betrayal. I'd like to interview you about your case. We could keep it anonymous if you prefer. I agree to an anonymous interview. The article comes out a week later and goes viral. It's on the front page of several major websites. People are sharing it on social media, commenting about similar experiences they've had. The attention brings even more scrutiny to Kimberly's case. The trial begins on a Monday morning. I attend, sitting in the back row. Kimberly doesn't see me at first. The prosecution lays out their case methodically. They present the fake will her father created as evidence that he was testing her character. They show bank records proving she drained the medical fund the day after the funeral, knowing exactly what it was for. They have emails where she discussed with friends how much money she was about to get. Then Marcus takes the stand. He's wearing a suit, looking healthy for the first time in years. He tells the jury about his diagnosis, about the experimental treatment that was his only hope, about watching his bank account suddenly go to zero. I called my sister, he says, his voice steady. I asked her if she knew what happened to the money. She said Dad must have moved it for tax purposes. She said not to worry about it. Did she know you were dying? The prosecutor asks. Yes. I'd told her multiple times how serious it was. I'd sent her links to articles about the treatment I needed. She knew everything. And she took the money anyway? Yes. The prosecutor shows photos of what Kimberly bought with the stolen money. The designer clothes, the jewelry, the down payment on the Porsche, the deposit on the mansion. The jury looks disgusted. Kimberly tries to interrupt during Marcus's testimony. That's not true. I didn't know. The judge pounds his gavel. Miss Benjaminson, you'll have your chance to testify. One more outburst and I'll hold you in contempt. Her lawyer, this kid who looks about 25, seems completely overwhelmed. The jury deliberates for only 90 minutes. They come back with a guilty verdict on all charges. Theft, fraud, identity theft, for the credit card in my name. Kimberly breaks down sobbing as the judge sets sentencing for the following month. You've ruined my life, she screams at Marcus. You've ruined your own life, the judge says coldly. Sentencing day arrives. The courtroom is packed. Victims' family members are allowed to speak. Marcus goes first. My sister nearly killed me. She stole money that was literally meant to save my life so she could buy luxury items. She's shown no remorse, not once. She still believes she was entitled to that money. Rachel speaks next. My sister has been manipulating and stealing from our family for years. She sold our mother's jewelry and blamed it on a burglary. She borrowed money from our father constantly and never repaid a cent. This isn't a one-time mistake. This is who she is. The judge listens to everything, then looks at Kimberly. Miss Benjaminson, do you have anything to say before I pass sentence? She stands up, mascara running down her face. I just wanted what was rightfully mine. I'm his daughter. That money should have been mine. The judge's expression hardens. The money was designated for your brother's medical treatment. You stole from a dying man. Not only have you shown no remorse, but you still believe you were in the right. He sentences her to the maximum. 5 years in prison. I'm citing your complete lack of remorse and the severity of stealing cancer treatment money from your own brother. You're remanded into custody immediately. 2 bailiffs escort her out. She's screaming the whole way. About a year after the trial, Gregory calls me with a letter. Your father-in-law left specific instructions for me to deliver this letter 1 year after his death. I open it carefully. His handwriting is shaky but readable. Benjamin, if you're reading this, it means I've been gone for a year. I wanted you to have time to heal before reading these words. I need to apologize for not seeing Kimberly's true nature sooner. As a father, I wanted to believe the best in my daughter. I made excuses for her behavior. I enabled her, and I allowed her to hurt her siblings. You showed me what real character looks like. You visited me in the hospital without being asked. You fixed things around my house without expecting payment. You treated me with respect and kindness, not because of what I could give you, but because that's who you are. You were the son I wished I'd had. The money is yours to use however you see fit. I know you'll do good things with it. Take care of Marcus and Rachel. They're good kids who deserved a better sister. Thank you for being there when my own daughter couldn't be bothered. Love, Richard. Marcus's latest scan shows no signs of cancer. The doctors use the word remission. When he tells me, he breaks down crying in my living room. I'm alive because of you. The treatment worked. I'm going to live. The treatment worked because you're a fighter. I tell him, I just made sure you had the tools you needed. Benjamin, you literally saved my life. I don't know how to ever repay that. You don't need to repay anything. Just keep getting better. Rachel calls me a few months later. Benjamin, I have a weird question. My daughter is getting confirmed at our church next month, and she needs a godfather. Would you consider it? You've shown more family loyalty than anyone with our actual blood. I'm honored. I fly to Seattle for the ceremony, and when the priest asks who will guide this young woman in her faith journey, I stand up and make my promises. Rachel's daughter gives me a huge hug afterward. Thank you for being here, and thank you for saving my uncle. More mail arrives. It's from Kimberly's mother, Helen. Benjamin, I don't know how to properly express my shame over what my daughter did. I failed as a mother somewhere along the line. Please know that I'm horrified by her actions, and I hope you can find peace. You didn't deserve any of this. I write her back immediately. Helen, you didn't fail as a mother. You can't control who your children become. You did your best. None of this is your fault. Kimberly made her own choices, and she's paying the consequences. I hope you can find peace too. I start dating someone named Claire. I met her at a volunteer event for the charitable foundation. She works with families dealing with medical crises, helping them navigate insurance and financial aid. She's kind, intelligent, and genuine. Marcus and Rachel both meet her and approve immediately. She's already 1,000 times better than Kimberly, Marcus jokes. Claire and I take things slow. After everything I've been through, I'm cautious. But she's patient and understanding. 6 months later, Kimberly calls me collect from prison. This call is from an inmate at... I almost hang up immediately, but curiosity gets the better of me. I accept the charges. Benjamin? Her voice sounds small, defeated. I need your help. The other inmates bully me because I have nothing. I need you to put money in my commissary account. Just a little bit. Please. I don't say a word, just hang up. She calls back 3 more times that week. I never accept the charges again. The charitable foundation expands. In its first year, we help 50 families with medical expenses. Marcus joins as co-director. We work together screening applications, reviewing financial documents, deciding who needs help most. It's fulfilling in a way I never expected. We're turning something horrible into something beautiful. Claire and I get engaged after a year of dating. I ask Marcus to be my best man at the wedding. Are you serious? He asks. Absolutely. You're my brother in every way that matters. The wedding is held at the same venue where Richard's funeral was. It feels appropriate, honoring the man who truly valued character over blood. Rachel and her family fly in. Helen is there too, crying happy tears. The ceremony is small but perfect. During the reception, Marcus gives a speech. His voice is strong, healthy. I want to tell you all about the man standing here today. 2 years ago, I was dying. I'd lost hope. My own sister had stolen the money meant to save my life. Then Benjamin showed up at my hospital room, someone I'd never even met before, and handed me a check that literally gave me my life back. But more than that, he gave me something I'd lost: faith in humanity. Benjamin showed me that family isn't about blood. It's about loyalty, love, and showing up when it matters most. He turned a betrayal into something beautiful by choosing to build a real family based on character instead of obligation. Benjamin, thank you for saving my life. Thank you for being my brother. And Claire, you're one lucky woman. Everyone in the room is crying, including me. I'm dancing with Claire later when I get an email notification on my phone. I ignore it at first, but during a break I check it. It's from the Department of Corrections. Inmate Kimberly Benjaminson was denied early parole. Reason: lack of remorse. No restitution paid. Next parole hearing in 3 years. She served only 2 years and thought she could get out. I delete the email and go back to the dance floor, pulling my wife close, surrounded by Marcus, Rachel, Helen, and all the family I chose.